You guys are doing so well. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here and for joining us on this journey. There's a lot right now that's going on in the collective that we really want to talk about today. And it has to do with today, but not just today. Also, energetically, it's just what's been at play for a while. But you're probably starting to recognize more. Not necessarily starting today, but just in the last few days. Okay. The general message here is that what you're seeing, what's being seen around the collective. Now, when we say see, it can be something that you see with your 3D eyes. It can also be something that you sense or that energetically is playing out in the lives of others around you. There's a few different things that have been happening and coming up. And the way that this was reflected back for me was in my face, meaning that where I wasn't even necessarily aware of how it was that I was responding, other people were noticing and responding. And so it really has to do with understanding the connection and the different forms that it takes. So it's important to understand that as the evolution of humanity has played out over the last few years, that a lot of things have been coming into play from previous cycles. The reason is because of all of the work that has been being done by a few, several, but not all, right? And when that is happening, it's saying, I'm willing to look at this part, this belief system, this cycle, this energy, this momentum, and see it in a different light. I'm willing to look at the light within me rather than just stay in a cycle with the collective humanity. And so, as you make those choices within yourselves, and you have, then others respond differently, and you respond differently to you, to the world, to the energy plays around you. And you will notice that simply energetically interacting is powerful. Knowing that you can always call on me is a powerful one. Um, and saying, Rochelle, please help however you can. Please be here with me and help me find the highest potential path. Help me to come into the energetic alignment of love within myself, receiving from others and from the world at large. Allow me to come into the frequency more and more of my true authentic self. And so you can connect that way. You can connect through written words. We're talking in the 3D world, it would be text and emails. There are even times where I have communicated with others energetically through text, that I will type it up and energetically send it without actually hitting send. That's another way that you can communicate. And so, and that way I know how the frequency is being sent in a very meticulous way, is really the way that that plays out. So, you can type a message and energetically send it and not send it, and that's okay, right? And you can do it across time and space, whether they're physically still with you or not. Okay. Meaning whether they are technically to you a living body at this time or whether you're still in communication matters not upon sending, ooh, there you go, and woo, energetic message. Okay, that was a good practice, Nicole. Thank you. Okay. And so you may start to, and by may I mean you will whenever you will. You may feel them energetically, right? And so we were helping you send the message you wanted to send, and I felt that as an energy on my right side, which is typically the energy of the giving, right? Or the masculine energy, and the right side is more receiving, and it felt kind of like, anyway, I'll just say energy. So also know that you can communicate through video, and that is going to be a more direct message. When you can see eye to eye, it's a powerful thing. When you can look someone in the eye in the 3D and look at them in their face, that's an even more powerful ally for being first and foremost in the alignment of your true authentic self as much as you can, always, and meaning as much as you can in every way possible. Sometimes I say in all ways, right? To 100%. A lot of times I say. Okay. And so you can notice the difference. You can energetically um, look at a photo, and I practiced this through a linga that was a spiritual house that was built thousands of years ago. And I brought up the picture, and I could energetically be in that space and receive the energy that had been left behind by another version of an aspect of myself. And that's fun, right? And so know what it is that you're connecting with and use your third eye, use the activations that you have to say, is this one? Does it feel like a good idea to connect to it or not? And I did, and it was very, very, very powerful. So you don't necessarily want to be present in every space. But there are spaces when you can feel in, there you go, when you can feel into them and they feel amazing. We'd like to go. Okay. There you go. Just know what it is that you're asking for. Because what I used that for was the complete healing of my physical energy body, because I have miraculously cleansed my energy body, my beliefs, and the energetic statements just kind of in my aura is clear. And it's the physical body that I wanted, that I use that for connection to. So when that happens, you are being shown, here is an alignment that you can choose to see and to have as a reflection that you can use on your own journey. And then when you ask for something, it is given, as that example. But no, then it is simply a matter of if and when you line up with that energy, right? Manifestation is about that you create something, that you have an energetic thought, then that is something that becomes part of your energy body. You can choose to release them. There you go. And say, I release all energy thoughts and segues in all ways. But if you do, such as saying, well, I'd like to visit the Linga, then it is simply a matter of coming into a frequency where you can align with that energy in a physical way. So when we talk about the levels, know that how you're communicating, that when you receive information from someone else, that like what you manifested, what you chose to watch in any particular show or venue that you ever attended, you manifested that, right? You manifested that through the frequency that you were living. And so you can make now a more conscious thought of what it is that you're choosing to participate in, because those are activations in your energy field, and you can continue to do the work to release anything that you don't truly desire from your energy field in all ways and say, I do a deep healing cleanse, oh wow, of my aura in all ways to 100%. I know it is. It's like being in my home. And so when you have the physical picture, you can connect with it easier. When you're in the 3D, when you're in there in a physical aspect, when the energies have become solid enough that they are complete, is simply a matter of you aligning to that frequency. So we wanted to share that as things continue to change and manipulate over time, because you have the ability to choose to line up with whatever frequency you desire. You can say, I choose to find the frequency of true love. And you've defined that, of course. And so for me, it is believing in the ultimate potentiality of yourself with others, right? And it is absolutely a union first and foremost within yourself. And when you have that, then you can attract the energy of the union of another. So when you find the frequency within yourself of true love, of the true love union, of the belief in the highest potentiality of yourself, then the alignment is imminent, right? And then it's simply a matter of allowing the energy either to find you or for you to find the energy. Um, and I will share this as well. I had a very unique experience this week, so which I already shared with Nicole. And in talking to this person that just happened to show up and knock on my door, their ability to be open to this sort of frequency was astounding to me. And so, um, in a wonderful way, and it's really allowing the reflection of the energy that you are in to be reflected back to you, and to welcome that alignment through every aspect of who you are. I know it's divinely guided. And so there were many things that led up to that, and it's following the path, right, of what feels good at every moment in time. And um there I'm going to give a specific example here. And it was a night after I had had a primarily raw vegan meal that I felt like I wanted to order Indian food. Now I had eaten probably around like 4, and it was like, I think it was like 8 o'clock. And I got an astounding yes through the core of who I was to just order what it was that I loved and felt like I wanted. And I have a huge love for Indian food, and I ordered fried mushrooms, letting go of any of that ideas, right? And it was all like a vegetarian thing. And then some samosas, is that what you call them? And something else. And oh, it was hot and sour vegetarian soup. I loved every moment of it. And they said the power of that action was so divine. Now, the energy difference in the food that I ate was very large, but it was an activation. And they said, he's going to come knock at your door. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool, right? And then didn't immediately put it together. Um, and it was a maintenance on my home for the sprinkler system. And so, he came and he knocked on the door, and then he left and came back because he had left something behind. And then he came and gave me his phone number. And I was also told that that was a really good idea. And by the way, love that I'm sharing this story. And I was like, they're like, it's a really high path, you should do it. And so after that I pulled cards on it and read doing it and not doing it, and the answer was astounding. It was King of Pentacles versus Three of Swords, like do it or don't do it. And I pulled clarifying cards just to make sure that I was getting the right answer. And it was basically um reviewing the past or dreamscaping your own reality, right? And so the reason that I shared this story is it's similar to how I shared the linga, that you can absolutely dreamscape your own reality. And what I mean is energetically putting out, letting go of all of your belief systems, right? That's what I had to do after eating a very healthy meal to then order samosas. I think that's what, anyway, the Indian fried triangles. And so doing that was a step. Actually returning or calling the phone or aligning with it, that was something that I should do, was another thing, right? It was the highest path that I was like, I was really verified that that was absolutely the highest path. And it didn't mean forever. I just asked for the highest path for now because it's all an activation. I started looking at the image of the linga sometime this week, and what it did was allow me to release, I want to say millennia, but my lifetime of energy interactions that I had experienced subconsciously in my life. And I finished that today, and then I started aligning in a new way. And so I share this because it's really, really powerful to remember that your belief systems, which is really just a thought that you keep thinking, are what creates the foundation for your reality. And it is those belief systems that ultimately fuel, right? And the energy that you're in, right? Which we could call belief systems, but in your physical body and in your energy body, there's a lot more layers to it than that. Um, but when you look at it, it's all of those things, right? And the more that you just release all expectations and align to what feels like the highest potential, even when it feels odd, then you can align to even higher and higher potentialities and understand that we are working with you, right? And these things and our intention is to align with our highest potential just all the time. And so those activations then bring about different activations in your energy field of higher and higher potentialities so that you're not just building them out yourself through recognizing and releasing your own belief systems and your own thoughts and choosing to have positive thoughts, right? Of things that you really want to manifest, of only speaking in ways that you want to experience life. And I would say here, it's like, I choose to experience higher and higher potentialities within myself. And so once you've done that, the activations grow and grow and grow, right? And so the initial thought here was um, somewhat limiting on what I was even willing to entertain. And then as I did the work to say, okay, I release all expectations and simply allow this to be in alignment for whatever it needs to be, it changed over time, right? And anyone who shows up and is interested in hearing about these sorts of things that I'm willing to say, I consider that a party. I do, right? And it is interesting how, when that is your intention, and I have shared this and I really loved it. And it's allowing yourself first and foremost to be a cooperative component on your own journey. And then also allowing others to be cooperative components to your own journey, right? I'm drawn to when I received the text message from my gym after 5 years for an activation in physical activity, and really getting into that mentality stronger, that ultimately manifested in the yoga retreat that I went to many moons later, right? But it was still an energy activation, and it's because I was willing to put on my running shoes and go have a training session at the gym. It aligned me in so many different ways to be able to find the journey in a more defined way that I am on now. So we share this as an activation within each of you to release the need to be on a straight and narrow path, and to recognize that sometimes a winding path can actually energetically get you to where you really have a higher potentiality, versus how we tend to think of that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Sometimes it's they're showing me the energy of my journey card in my deck, and it's that sometimes it's a winding path, and it's not necessarily one that is a straight line to where you are, because sometimes the activations that you receive along the way are divinely inspired and can help you in ways that are absolutely amazing. There it is. Okay. This is the card I'm talking about, right? He's looking, he's paying attention to what's going on, right? I love it. That's like how I and right? I love that now that I see it. And the path may have some winding parts, right? So be open. There you go. Love it. Be open to those potentialities. They want me to share, no, we're going to share another channeled story. And I have mended my relationship with sugar, with quinoa, and almost with broccoli. It's kind of a preference. And so I was working today. I have realized energetically, because sometimes they have me watch a particular show, and I will, whatever, it's usually before something is coming, I'll want to pick up my phone and do something else, or like see if I want to play a video or something, or go to the bathroom, or go get the mail, or eat an apple. And I have realized it's because have a knowing of what's coming, and I'd prefer to have a different experience. And so I was tapping into that. And this is another activation that you can choose. And so the one that happened today, there were a couple, but the one that I remember the last time is it was driving down a road, and suddenly I wanted to just like make a recipe or read a book or something. And then I realized, I'm like, okay, what were they doing? Well, they were having a picnic. And my preferences, well, I released it, but it was definitely out there, of things that I had experienced throughout my life. I would like for my food to be inside where the bugs don't live, right? And where things are in the refrigerator. And so that was my preference. But when you can recognize those things, right, to the point that I was like, nope, I'm going to choose the different path energetically. And so by releasing that, I can open myself up. And that was really not necessarily for like these divine picnics that my soul was orchestrating. It was one example, and there have been several recently, where they were saying, though, it's the same thing. Releasing expectations, releasing even your preferences, so that you can energetically align to the highest path. And I get it. that it could be, and I have had some really, a couple, I can think of like one, enjoyable picnics in my life where like I remember making chocolate chia seed pudding, right, and like bringing wonderful things, and at one point I even bought a picnic, what I thought was a picnic bag. And I will say this though, right, it's like I had a very strong thing about this, and so I released that, and it opens you up to the potentiality that there could be a really divine experience in a park, and I can now align myself with that if that feels like the highest fun that I could have on any day. And so when you recognize where they call this, um, oh, why, hello there, Jesse. Oh gosh. Okay. I, oh, hmm. You are on mute, but it's also not allowing me to do that for you. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay. And so recognizing that um your words likely have something to say about that. Um so hilarious. Okay. So when we talk about these energies that are at the forefront of what we're working through, it's recognizing that whatever you feel, if it feels like a diversion, to recognize that and to say, do I need to know anything more about it? Or can I, and if so, what is it? What else do I need to feel into? And if not, then I can also choose to say, then when I know everything I need to know, I choose to release you now in all ways, right? And so you can do the same thing with the way that you're talking to yourself, with the way that you're talking to others, and everything in life that you are experiencing, because it is about having fun, but it's about releasing all of your expectations and thinking that you know, there we go, wonderful. It's about releasing all of your expectations and all beliefs that you maybe have a better idea of a better path for joy and exuberance than your true authentic self, than God, than source, right? And so when you can release all aspects of expectations and all of your preferences and just say, I have fun, I have joy, I have exuberance, I have enlightenment, and I choose to follow the path that feels the lightest at every moment in time, which could be a picnic, right? It could be a drive, it could be experiencing something. They showed me something specific, and this is really to break you out of your shell. And it was, for example, it could be witnessing a wasp in a way that triggered something. We're saying this kind of energetically, but this is something that has happened. It triggered something within you that you were then able to understand different energies within yourself, to have a different experience of what it really meant to be stung as opposed to what you were creating in your mind. And they said this actually happened to me. And it was one time at camp, and I was, in my mind now, I was walking barefoot in the grass, and somehow I got stung. And I was like, that's interesting. And they were showing me at that point in time that energetically, that's what you thought was happening. It wasn't. And so you can choose then to recognize those energies that were triggered within you and to choose to let them go in all ways, down to the core frequency of your true authentic self. Because that is what we made a blog post today. I can read it if you want. It was a understanding the algorithm, and it's really simple. You just let go of all of your expectations, of all of your fears, of all of your desires, of all of your wants and your needs, and you simply do what feels fun all the time, even if it requires you to let go of logical sense, right? Now, it does mean feeling into it. It's the article of Sniff Before You Leap as well, that feel into it. Does it feel like the right thing to do? Then please do. If not, then don't do it. They were showing the energy of me basically doing physical movement, right? And the idea that movement actually feels good now, and letting go of the belief that it would do anything other than that, right? And the belief systems that have been cultivated through humanity over time. It's the way that evolution works. It is accumulation of energy. It's how you leapfrog as well, is by letting go of all of the things that you had been manifesting through your DNA and through your soul, and saying, I just choose to be joyful. And I let go of whatever that meant to me in the past, and I find a new definition of joy within myself. Or or you just find a definition of joy within yourself. Thank you for being there for that, Carrie, by the way. It was like, oh, this is what it is. Um, and I think I liked Indian food before that, but it was that experience that I was like, this is it. Just having fun, enjoying food, enjoying the atmosphere, no place we have to be or go or anything we have to do. Can we just have fun and be willing to, it was like, be willing to eat carbs even. Right? Like, be willing to eat the free appetizer that's brought to you, and or drink chai that I knew had sugar in it. And it's like, that experience was well worth letting go of all of those things. So let go of what you believe is your highest potentiality, and allow us to help you achieve the frequency you always desire by finding the frequency of fun. Not necessarily anything other than true divine love of adventure. And then focus on anything that allows you to get you there. And then when you find the frequency, then you can let go of any of those elements of focus or images, and simply adventurize yourself through the frequency of divine love of joy. And exuberance is beyond that. And simply experiencing the joy and the fun of life, and allow that to be your friend. Allow that to be the activation of your life. That is what you truly choose to experience now. And that life is really about finding joy and allowing your frequency to resonate with that through every cell and the energies between your cells, from the top of your head through your arms and your liver and your pancreas and your spleen and your intestines and your heart and your limbs down to your toes. Allow yourself to be filled with the exuberance of joy and fun, and allow yourself to even say the word excitement. Because when you allow yourself, I had to let go of that one, by the way. Um, I had to let go of my belief that just now, because my belief was that excitement was chaos. So I released that belief willingly now. Woo! And so enjoy the fun of that, of finding that frequency and feeling into the energy potentiality of all that is, and allow yourself to find that frequency all the time, whenever you want. And then follow, what is it that I could possibly fathom that I could do right now? What is the energy pulling me towards now? And then go do that. The energy they're showing me is generally moving forward in a brilliant way. It doesn't have to be running. It doesn't have to be using your shins and shin splinting. It can simply be letting go of all your beliefs about how just moving forward in a wonderful way is the best path forward, and how it is that you align to moving forward in a wonderful way can be done through miraculous ways when you let go of the belief that it has to be a certain way. Letting go of the belief that you have to lose weight by eating less, because I will tell you, my physical experience has been by eating more protein, not less. I experience a greater amount of freedom within my body and more energy to do what it is that I want to do. Now, ultimately, is there a higher path beyond that? There sure is. But allowing yourself to align to one frequency and then the next is ultimately what life is all about. That is the algorithm of life on earth. It is simply allowing yourself to do what feels fun and what feels right, like the highest amount of fun that you can do in every single moment. And it's not about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. It's about aligning to the right space and time, for aligning to what feels right to you and understanding what might have been there and recognizing it and releasing anything that may have been a hindrance of you not wanting to move forward at any given point in time, so that you can purify your frequency more and more. That if something seems like it should be a good idea and it isn't, it probably has something to do with the energy you're in right now. And simply by aligning to a higher frequency, by doing what feels good, you can align to a higher frequency of yourself. And that is ultimately allowing you the highest path forward. They want me to say also that this day will be a powerful one to return to remember the frequency that you were able to achieve. We offer ourselves as a resource for you to also say, I choose to attain the highest frequency of bliss ever achieved. I choose to attain that frequency now and to be able to attain that frequency whenever I truly desire. I choose to be able to align to the frequency of bliss and joy and exuberance and even excitement if I so choose. And I choose that those frequencies become more and more a part of my life and who I am and what I experience every single day of my life, making every single day the best day of it. We witness ourselves here in a brilliant light of energy, setting our intention to connect to the highest ultimate light source within our soul, and allow the highest light source within our soul to the highest potentiality in all ways. We call on our highest aspects of our highest self to be with us throughout this day, and allow for all of the energies in, on, and around us and supporting us, all souls, beings, spirits, and energies, to be those that are here supporting us in our highest frequency and believing in and working towards our highest potentiality. And any of those that are not in alignment with that, we ask them to go. We allow for ourselves to be on the journey of love of ourselves and others, and to believe in joy as a frequency that is attained and lived here and now by us and all those willing to make the leap. Okay. We welcome any energetic question that you have now. Okay. So the main energy lesson for today was in aligning to your highest potentiality and recognizing that sometimes what feels like a lower choice may be simply showing you a catalyst to get to a higher one. To recognize the choice that you've been making so that you can choose to make a higher one at every single point in time. I have been going to bed earlier, and please do share if you've been able to do that as well. And I also recognized that in getting up earlier as well and feeling okay with that. And when I chose a slightly different version of that, I felt what that felt like to not be in the highest frequency and potentiality of my life path of what I was on currently, what I was manifesting and healing throughout my sleep. And this, by the way, was more, not less. And I recognized that, and it allowed me to continue to make the highest choice possible and to align with being okay that that was the highest choice possible as well. It is a belief that I choose to release that I need more than 7.5 hours of sleep every day. I've known this, but I choose to release that to my core and to find my true core frequency and to release all energetic beliefs and frequencies that are not in alignment with my true core frequency with who I am. Okay, if there's any other energetic questions or yeah, okay. So how do you get there again? Was that it? First of all, recognize that your body is your vessel. Recognize that your belief systems are the foundation of your reality, and that everything else that you feed into your energy, every single way that you speak, act, and breathe, ultimately creates a frequency that allows you to align to higher and higher paths within yourself. What we're doing here today and what we do is allow you to see the frequencies that we have been able to achieve within ourselves, the release of our belief systems and that of Belinda. And we choose to allow you to see these so you can more easily align to them yourself. And so you can simply set an intention to say, I choose the highest potential path at every given moment in time, no matter how it feels to me to be counterintuitive. And if it still feels right, then I do it. It's like eating an unripe mango so that you can have the perfectly ripe mango mix. I see another question. Oh, yeah, we will. We will post the recordings as well. But energetically, know that this space is here. You can walk into it. You can say, I allow myself to achieve the frequency within the core of who I am and to align to it with every fiber of my being in all ways. I find instantly the frequency of Rochelle's energetic core soul frequency, sure, and I choose to align with that. Recognize what it is that you are asking for. Please drink a lot of water because what that does is it says, okay, now release everything. Allow yourself to process all of those things that allow you to be in that frequency, right? I thought about this. Someone commented yesterday, I was wearing white that I look on a video call that I looked thinner and my skin looked very clear, but there was something about the look I was giving. I was like, yeah, that makes sense, right? It's the thing. I release that now in all ways, but it simply was. Um, I was also being shown, right, that the things that I had done, I was like, oh, thank you. All I did was change everything about how I live, what I air, what I wear, what I eat, what I think, what I do, how I talk, right? How I spend my time in every single way. And then that just happens. Right? Um, so recognize that when you ask for these things, it is given. That energy frequency is out there on your path for all of you. It is simply a matter of following your highest exuberance in every moment of every day to allow yourself to align to that frequency, to allow yourself to do that, and then to follow whatever it is to your highest excitement until it doesn't feel like it's wonderful anymore, right? Like if you are meditating and you have a wonderful thought of something to do, please get up and go do the wonderful thing because you've achieved what it was that you were asking for. So allow that frequency to be part of what it is that you're doing and go forth and do that. There you go, you got that. Yay. Okay. they want me to share that this day was a very, 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 very powerful one for me. And I had started looking at the Linga Vikas. I'm gonna have to anyway, and I had felt it, and I was like, wow, that's wonderful. Let's understand that alignment and activate that alignment within ourselves. And that energy is out there for you as well. And then today, when I brought up the image again, it wasn't the same. And it was the same frequency. That had not changed. What had changed was my frequency. And I have noticed it with every crystal that okay, I have noticed it with several crystals, especially after my own ability to channel. They wanted me to say enlightenment. After that, I recognized that I would get a crystal and I'd be like, wow, that's fantastic. And over time, I realized it wasn't that I needed to cleanse my crystals. I was doing that energetically, that was happening. It was simply that I had activated myself through the crystals to have those frequencies be part now of who and what I am. And they're still working with me. They are. Um, and yes, they all are. This is another blue appetite part one. Whoa. Okay. So you can see incense that as well, right? But the difference now is a lot smaller because my activations of those frequencies are far greater. And you can do and are doing the same thing. Allow yourself to recognize the frequency and choose to align to it, and choose that by letting go of the way that you think things need to go, that you can actually allow yourself to have a greater state of flow, right? And so, for example, in order for that example to happen yesterday, where someone said I looked bitter and my face looked clear, I followed the path of how I was wearing my hair. And yesterday, my hair was it? I think it was yesterday. It was all pulled back. Like I had pulled it back for doing my yoga kriya session, and I had left it that way. It was just in a pile on my head. And I had worn the specific white shirt. And so by choosing those things, that I was like, oh, I'm doing this in my hair now, and I'm leaving it that way. Yep. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I wore the white shirt, which is fine. I quite like it. But it ultimately created that atmosphere for that conversation to happen. And so the more that you just go with the flow, however odd, these are the little things that happen that also made me go, oh, well, isn't that wonderful? I love my life. Right? Um, I say that quite frequently. And the more that I say it, the more that those things happen. So when you experience those synchronicities, when those things come into flow for you, appreciate it, be happy about it, dance about it, like about it, love about it, and really enjoy the journey and the fun that you're having, and say, I choose to recognize the fun that I'm having. I choose to recognize the fun that I'm going to have, and how that lined up is also sometimes kind of fun, right? So they want me to say, okay, I wanted to shuffle cards, and they're giving this as an energetic example, that sometimes something may be a habit that you don't necessarily have to do as well. Woo! I was shuffling cards, and they're like, you don't necessarily have to. It depends. Does that seem right? You already gave them the card of the journey. That was pretty much it, right? And so, it's like I do still have a belief system about showers. I am more flexible now about specifically when, for example, if that makes sense, or whether I take a bath or a shower, or what order I wash my hair in, maybe even at once. So it's allowing yourself to feel into what feels good and like the right thing to do. The next step is letting go of all of those behaviors, and it really opens up a wild version. So now So please let me know if there's something that you guys want to share or any questions or anything. Okay.
Hi, Rochelle. Can you pull a card for me?
I pulled two for you.
Thank you.
Oh boy. Okay. So I pulled the cards and they're telling me that this is a very specific message for you. They're also drawing my attention to the heat in the room, which I hadn't been paying attention to for a lot of the time. My temperature gauge goes to about 84, and anything above that, I go, whoo. But the air isn't on. I just let it get to that temperature today. It's because of the weather. They're having me say that for a specific reason. It is the disguise card and accruing karma, but they really want you to look at the pictures. And they want you to understand that how it is that you choose to walk through life is entirely within your control, right? You don't have to hide who you truly are. You don't have to hide what it is that you truly desire, what it is that you truly love, or what it is that you want to do with your life. And you don't have to throw stones in the rainbow. So when you have all of these wonderful blessings, make sure that you're focusing upon that, that you're focusing upon what it is that you like about having a career, right? And it simply means that, for example, I love food. We call it a love affair. What? And I also love having a home where I am safe and protected from the elements and, can house my crystals and my bed and my shower. And so, however you choose, you're choosing to look at yourself in a restricted way. And when you choose to look at yourself and all you're doing is hurting yourself, what we're asking you to do is pray and say, Dear God in heaven, I ask for angelic assistance. I welcome angelic assistance, and I am willing to receive it now. I'm willing to receive Rochelle's help. I'm willing to receive whatever help I can receive. And I am open and willing to receiving it and seeing how it is that I am having the world shown as reflected back to me. Because you are thinking that it is the other people. It is not the other people. 90% of the time, what is being reflected back to you is that which you have within yourself. The question is, are you even seeing it? I love my cards the most. And so it has to do with if that's what you're attracting, if you are attracting people leaving you, acknowledge that within yourself. Acknowledge that I have witnessed great loss in my life through relationships and family. I recognize that to my core. I recognize that I was creating that scenario for myself, and I choose to let it go through the core of who I am in all ways to 100%. And I choose to say, I allow things in my life that aren't perfect. That was two cards. Do you have questions about that, Maria?
So, do I need to relax more and not be so stressed thinking about, okay, so that's how I was. How is the future? Or, because I'm trying to stay as calm as possible, but we're human. So, once in a while, a thought comes and then I feel down.
And so every time that happens, Maria, go to my YouTube channel and watch the 6-minute video on clearing thought. I've been watching it every single night, so you guys can easily line up with it. I have been getting the message in the last 2 or 3 days that I could watch it in the morning as well, knowing that I'm doing it so you guys can line up with it more easily. But that when I start doing things multiple times a day, it makes it that much easier for you to line up with.
Yes, because I did that twice today.
You
Like
did? Did
I
it help?
needed, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's something in the air. Like I can't focus. My mind is tired. Like it's weird. But Monday and Tuesday, I deep cleaned my house, and I was so excited of getting everything put together. And then I'm like, I'm gonna do the blinds, and I'm gonna do this and that, and all of a sudden, it was like I was so drained.
It's your belief about doing work by yourself without being appreciated. So say, I release the belief that I need to be appreciated for my work in all ways.
Thank you.
Does that feel a little better?
Yes.
Mhm. And so that's what it is. So that's what today's talk was about. Transmission is usually what I say. That's what today's talk was about, is letting go of those underlying belief systems so that it's easier to create the environment that you want. Right? And that video, I have been playing it out loud for 6 minutes before I go to bed. I say it out loud to myself while I'm watching the video with myself. It's a very, very, very serene experience. And then I sleep better. I really do. It's actually playing in my room on repeat now as we speak as well. I just want you to know that's how much power that video has, that I'm giving it, that you have available. Say it out loud as many times as you need to, and allow yourself to let go of anything that you're creating that isn't on your highest potential path. That was good. All right. What else? All right. We leave you with this. Okay, sure. So this is my, actually see it pretty well against my shirt. This is my Merkaba pendulum, and I use it quite frequently for aura cleansing. So we're going to run through this really quickly for you, Maria, as well. And I want you to understand that when you say it out loud with me, imagining that I am helping you on your path while you're doing it, it's super, super, super powerful. Okay. So we say, I connect to the highest light source within my soul and allow myself to allow the highest potential light source within my soul to the highest potentiality in all ways, asking for the highest version of myself to be with me now as well, and asking for angelic assistance, allowing angelic assistance, and allowing Rochelle to assist me to the highest potentiality, letting go of all resistance and paths that aren't really serving me now. Whew. Okay. We now clear and correct all energetic cords in all ways, including sleep. We now clear and correct all thoughts in all ways to 100%. We now clear and correct all segues in all ways to 100%. Whoa. Yeah, yeah. We now release, remove, neutralize, clear, and correct all words, all things that we've been saying, all of the sentences, all the communication energy. We release them now across all time, space, dimension, and reality throughout all of our energy bodies in all ways to 100%. We leave ourselves a clean slate. We release all works of art in all ways to 100%. And that's the energy that you've been building out in your field. We want it to be pure and of the highest potential loving aspects. We clear and correct all energy working against us in all ways to 100%. We clear and correct all interests that are not right now really ones we should be focused on, that aren't our own and aren't really for our highest good in all ways to 100%. We clear and correct all troubles and problems in all ways to 100%. We clear and correct our energy, all of our energies brought to the surface, all beliefs and energetic statements, all things that have been causing anything less than bliss in our lives. We choose to recognize them in our energy body so that they can be released now. We clear and correct all injunctions in all ways to 100% so that we can come back onto the path, recognizing it for what it is for our highest potentiality. We clear and correct all of our words completely. So it is letting go of the things you're saying even now. Let go of the need to speak to yourself in anything other than, I believe in the highest potential for myself. There you go. I clear and correct my energy body in all ways, all levels, all layers, all instances of fear and failure and famine are released from my body in all ways, and I allow myself to find the highest frequency possible for this day. All right. We clear and balance our root chakra in all ways. We clear and balance our sacral chakra in all ways. We clear and balance our solar plexus chakra in all ways. We clear and balance our heart chakra, all levels, all layers, all ways. Recognizing our heart center is what we allow to be the center of what we are, and clearing out any energies of anything other than the belief that life is wonderful. We clear and balance our heart chakra in all ways to 100%. Yeah, baby. Okay. We clear and balance our throat chakra in all ways to 100%, allowing ourselves to witness the channel within us and to choose to witness greatness within ourselves and to only speak that which we truly desire to happen in the most wonderful way that we can muster at every given moment in time. We clear and balance our third eye chakra, allowing us to know what needs to be known and to let go of any stones that are thrown in the rainbow of life. We clear and balance our third eye chakra, coming into the highest resonance with knowing possible. We clear and balance our crown chakra, letting go of any blocks, restrictions, or limitations in all ways to 100%. We clear and balance all energy centers, all levels, all layers, all ways to 100%. We clear and balance our energy body, all levels, all layers, all ways to 100%. We bring ourselves into complete alignment with our true self, letting go of all these energies and recognizing the frequency of our true core frequency of true self. And we allow that to be the frequency that we resonate in now. Amen. All right. We are balanced, we are aligned, and life is joyful and wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here, for finding your joy, and for recognizing the difference. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel so much lighter.
Yay! Thank the Lord above.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Love you.
Love you too.
Good night.
Good night.
Love you. Good night. Bye.